Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension post show. I'm joined here with Layla, and I don't like children and knives.
You don't?
No, not my thing.
That's, I think we should be teaching children important life skills early. They're more capable than you think. You see a lot of TikToks of those little kids cooking. They're real talented. Why not also murder?
That's fair. I mean, it wasn't just murder, right? She's like, look, my mommy, it's like Krista and Eric, like, will they, won't they is closer to won't they? But like Faith is like, look, do you want to be my new mommy? And look, my mommy took away her eye. What won't you?
Listen, literally an eye for an eye. Now, listen, I'm a pacifist in my real human life. I try to practice peace, mindfulness. I don't like violence, right? There are times when it is necessary, but until it is necessary, I don't like it. If a 6-year-old was cornering me with a chef's knife, I would punt that baby.
Oh, yeah, no, really, that's very surprising. Yeah, and Krista's into it for a bit, too. That's the part. She's like, yeah, maybe I should take my own. Wait a second, what am I doing? No, this is not Eric. Discipline your child. I don't know what, but I'm out of this.
Yeah, she was about to. Very suggestible, that Krista, for someone who's so strong of spirit.
To be fair, that is a little bit of a red flag, right? If the child can tell you, can convince you to take away your own eye, maybe you should watch out for the kid, right? You got to question yourself and what's going on there. And speaking of question, the audience you yourselves had a lot of questions, right? Because we're going to have our video that premiered today just show up, just to, a little bit of that scene is going to appear behind Layla and myself. But essentially, it's when Rachel kind of relays, what's going on to Barbara. Xavier's dead. The children are saying this. Barbara's like, oh, BT dubs. We got a little bit more going out of the Foundation than you first thought here. The Heralds.
Yes, the heralds, and if you'll recall, the agony and ecstasy thereof. These are the famed, pained, and ecstatic heralds. Why not be both? So yeah, now Rachel's got some detecting to do as to who she thinks is the secret herald in the midst here. We got some choices. I saw chat was very defensive of Miss Nora. Nora's won a lot of goodwill here in the Silent Hill Ascension community, and we got some other choices, right? We got Miss Barbara. As we said, she's a little. We don't know what her deal is at all. I don't know, Eduardo. If I heard if one of us was a secret herald, there'd be a lot to think about.
No, that's for sure, right? By the way, that is kind of almost the worst book club, right? When you go in the Foundation, you're discussing, oh yeah, the Heralds, I read that. What did you think about the teachings of Paul Radcliffe, Part 2? Not the best. Although I'm surprised Barbara shared that much with Rachel, given that Rachel's no longer Foundationist. So it is a little bit curious. And by the way, Layla, you said, well, we're going to go into our decision that's open today. And you were like, oh, yeah, our audience trusts Nora. I'm looking at this. Nora's by far and clear the person that's leading in terms of the audience choice on who to pick. So your faith in the audience, as usual, very misplaced. You should know by now. They are pretty much. Are they more or less reliable than Faith is a question. But what isn't a question is that Pennsylvania is full of drama. That's going to be up on screen. And I mean, if you could describe in the context of what we've just seen, what's been going on so far.
Would love to. So Xavier got collected. Krista tries to convince Eric that Rachel cannot be trusted to care for Faith. I don't think Faith can be trusted at this point. So, who's to say? And then Rachel tells Eric about Xavier, and they deliberate what to tell Barbara. And as we saw, she tells Barbara quite a bit. I guess I thought, chat like Nora, I guess I'm wrong. There's Barbara, and then there's Krista. 3 very sketchy ladies that are kind of, Krista. Listen, we know a lot about Krista, but we don't really what are her motivations? You know what I mean? Are there secrets she's keeping in that bun of hers? Is she storing secrets in the hair? We never know. So a lot to think about. But Barbara did get to find out that Xavier is like super dead, and you caught it, and you said it to me while we were sitting in the green room, so to speak. Was that she was just like, oh yeah, it did feel like he was gonna hurt you. Now when were we gonna inform Rachel of that?
Yeah, no, it's just like for me, the Pennsylvania drama is I particularly just love that scene again with Krista, right? She's like, you know what? Rachel can't be trusted to take care of Faith. I'm clearly going to be a better mother. And like that whole scene is literally karmic payback. It's like, I can do a better job. Have you seen the kid? Like, that like there's child and there's that. Like whatever Faith is not a child I would likely take on at any stage point. Like honestly, if she's in the same room as me, my happy place is wherever the opposite side of the world is.
If the audience were live with us now, I'd make punt that baby into a chant. So if we want to get a chance going in the chat, if I were in the same room, I would punt that. Hey, she's truly like unsettling. That is not a child anymore. That is something new and stabby, and I'm not into that. Like
You're
that's
not
just
the stabby child. That's surprising.
I just, I'm pro women doing violence. Sometimes you gotta I support women's wrongs, but that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
To be fair, she's learning from mommy, right? But like, it's not the same. Mommy didn't give her context clue. She's like, look, when someone threatens you, that's when you can kind of put the knife back on them, and make sure they're stabbed. But like, when they're not doing anything, it's kind of like, you gotta chill. You gotta, you can beat them in other ways. You don't have to like put a knife and tell them to take their own eye. No.
And also, speaking of Faith pointing a knife, what was it about Krista's vibes that had her, so immediately ready to point a knife at a lady? Is she scheming? Who's to say?
Who's to say?
I'll leave the audience to deliberate while we go over to Norway. Production, if you wouldn't mind putting that up for us. As Astrid and Rachel meet in the other world, they must work together to avoid being ensnared by the monster stalking them. Britt must decide what to say to Astrid about her attack. Orson claims he saw the lady in the woods. Who's that? With Britt struggling through her pain, other Brit, or as we said, British, or there was Pepsi Brit I saw in the chat. That one was good too.
Diet Brit was another one. It was great.
Diet was good. Suggests an alternative source for painkillers, Nils. And, oh my God, today we got the Hagrid hug.
Oh yeah, no, that I was going to wait for the opportunity to talk about that. Definitely Hagrid fans got a lot in that scene, right? It's like, how will we deal with this?
How will
Olivia. It's no longer Hagrid. It's Olivia.
It is Olivia now. And that's not an scandalo so much as it is just romance. And for that we say, let's go, lesbians. Let's go.
There's clearly a lot of feelings there. There's a lot of unrequited love. Now, I don't think it's the same, but you gotta let her deal with her child, right? That's important. In a partner, it's important to also recognize, look, they're going through something. I'm there to help them, but it's not about me for now. It's about how they can get through it. Now, in Britt's case, her partner is herself, and possibly, the answer to the question, would you date yourself? Britt is literally the monkey's paw version of that wish for whoever has it in the audience.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I'll look in the mirror someday and go, I wish I had 4 arms and like a monkey's paw curls, and then my evil doppelganger smiles at me. It's a lot, and Nils, not to victim blame, but Nils is shaking that medication around a lot. If they were maybe like a little more discreet, maybe other Brit wouldn't have noticed. Have we thought about that?
Yeah, it is hard though, right? Like he's dealing with his stuff. I get it. Like in Norway, it's very much of everyone's dealing with their shit, so to speak. Olivia Hagen, the daughter that not quite there. We really, really hope that daughter is very dead. Astrid dealing with the unfortunately two alive Orson, and then Brit dealing with the even more two alive of her Brit. Now, the thing with all of this is, right, a lot of this is kind of our narrative as it flows, but a lot of this also comes from the decisions our audience is taking. So last week we had some audience choices. Those are going to be up on your screen. Layla, if you could recap kind of what the audience had to choose about and what they chose.
I would love to. So what will Rachel do about Xavier's offer to rejoin? She's going to reject Xavier's offer. And then what will Britt do with her doppelganger? Y'all said revive her. That was the redemption path. And then how will Britt convince Nils to help her apologize for cutting them out? We got a triple whammy for redemption. And, we got bingo, we got tic-tac-toe, all down the line. And, we see the rumblings in the chat about folks getting, talking about redemption winning all the time. That is, statistically what happens in a lot of these stories. It's very interesting that it's happening now, but kind of selectively, Eduardo, because we're seeing the decisions trend towards redemption a lot. But don't think we don't see you, and I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again, tanking Endure for some characters. Eric is not very hopeful.
So that was funny, because Eric's hope increased in that one, right? You succeed Endure, and there was a bunch of people going, boo! Not boo orange, just boo! They wanted Eric to fail. The turn of Eric from kind of hero to heel has definitely been something, and that's kind of the thing. You can't really decide on Eric last week, so what did you do? You just tanked him. A lot of the audience wants to see Eric die, just straight up. They're like, that is gonna die. But now again, Layla, with these fate decisions that came up, there's redemption, and then there's kind of redemption, right? So. The decision where Rachel throws Xavier's offer in the face and then also his knife in the stomach kind of came up with, that was very much in that favor, right? That was a pretty clear cut. There was a lead. It wasn't close. The two with Britt were actually kind of close with damnation. Now, and suffering. So what will Britt do with her doppelganger? The kind of pragmatic lever option was very close to happening. It was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. Very fair, audience members. Very fair. And the other one was about trying to romance Nils, which I saw from the audience reactions that while it would be entertaining, there's also a point of this isn't quite the same as the Eric Morgie scenes.
No. This is, I would say, more layered, right? Because Nils, quite obviously, is still holding some, I would say, at least mild resentments for, getting shot. That seems to be pretty problematic in their romance. But there are vibes at the very least, which is pretty forgiving of I would think, listen, I've been interested in some characters in my life, and if their sister shot me, whether or not that was intentional, I don't think we'd be on speaking terms, so...
It is reasonable, for sure. It's actually surprising they managed to maintain a relationship at all, honestly, just on speaking terms, kind of normal, so... but, the thing remains, right, that the audience is very much still in Britt's court. Because, and that's been the case since that relationship with Astrid. When you were asked, essentially as an audience, you were told it's damnation to be with the sister. You're like, nah, it's all good. We need that sisterly love, essentially, and we need them to be together. And that's coming up now that Britt is kind of one of our featured characters as well in these redemption arcs. Now we're going to go to Pennsylvania for the decision that opened today. That's going to be on your screen. Very much about the mystery surrounding who's the secret herald. Layla.
Who will Rachel accuse of being a secret herald? Is it Barbara, who disappeared for a while and seems to have motives we're not quite aware of? Is it Nora, who very suddenly appeared on the scene with Faith, who had been missing and sure seems to know a lot about where that little girl has been? Or is it Krista, who's been there the whole time and who seems to be making, I accuse Xavier of pot stirring a lot, but Krista's not innocent here either. So who's to say? We got three pretty meaty choices, Eduardo.
Yeah, but, and I don't use this term lightly, holy shit. Basically, the audience has decided it's Barbara by a landslide. Right now, it's 2.9 million influence points already for Barbara in the redemption side, with Suffering and Damnation so far behind. Honestly, at this point, the dust has cleared. So, like, it's not even they're left in the dust. The dust is cleared. It's just,
there's also
like, the horizon is left barren as you wonder what just happened.
Just like Wile E. Coyote, like a dust trail. Well, there's
very
a
much
secret
Barbara had like Rachel's brain went towards the audience is like Rachel's brain went towards Barbara the same way the Roadrunner already decided that where the coyote's gonna go.
You just hear a collective beep beep as they all run to dump everyone's points in the Barbara choice. There is a secret fourth option, as Johnny Zombie Boy suggested. Could be me.
Well, we'll leave that reveal for later. We don't want to spoil things too much, right? It's important. Also, there could be multiple secret heralds. She did say, Barbara did say, it was a section. Does it have to be one person? What if the whole organization's in on it?
It could be kind of Airbud rules too, it could be like you're only not a herald, like if you opt out, like it's some secret clause where it's not explicitly stated. But you just kind of like,
Yeah, there's nothing in the rule book that says that they're not a herald here. So
yeah, the pigeon outside, that one's a herald.
Yeah. I like also Sig Pinwitty's point. It's just some dude named Harold. That's also very good. Very appreciative of that take. But you were talking about women's wrongs. All free choices, right? Here, all women. Actually, all four, technically, if you go like Rachel is the one doing the accusation here. From start to finish.
I think you said all four, including me, and I was about to be like,
oh, sorry. You're right. All five. And let's not discount Noah, too. She's sus.
That's that. You're not right. Yeah, what the? Where's Noah right now? She's not accounted for.
That's true, actually.
She's not on the screen.
She's not on our screen, so she might as well. Wait, what is she doing?
Drew says Jam Man is the herald. Look at all these candidates. We're swimming in heralds, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, somebody is like, so the herald is among us, which is fantastic too. There's like, and by the way, it wasn't the herald. It was so the herald was among us, just like the triple pun, so to speak. But yeah, it's become a whodunit, Drew. Now the thing is, we're gonna leave you with that mystery. So before we end the show, though, we do have a development update. So that's gonna be up on the screen. We're gonna actually discuss ads. So this is a development update. So I'm gonna essentially read this to you. As it's an important update for Silent Hill Ascension. At the hosted show, we're all fun and stuff. So this is more serious mode. So again, this message is really for our audience members that are using the Silent Hill Ascension mobile app. If you're on PC, this won't affect you. You can tune out for a bit, wait till we go to the end of this. So starting today, soonish, roughly, there will be a new way to earn influence points through ads. That'll be in goals and puzzles within the mobile app. So the idea is that once the ad plays through, you will gain the influence points. If you're a season pass holder, you're not going to see ads. You're actually just going to get more influence points. The goals will be added anyways. It will count as essentially a clear. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a season pass holder, this is more influence points for you. Now, one of the things to note is that there will also be ads kind of in catch-ups and episodes, so won't grant IP, but very, very importantly, the live broadcast will not contain ads. If you've been following us live, if you've been here for the pre-show, the show, the post-show, you're not going to see these as part of your experience. That's actually something very important that I did want to state to you, the audience at home. The last thing about this, as you see it on screen, as you're kind of understanding this development update, is that this is supporting our development team as we continue to bring you Silent Hill Ascension live broadcasts. And that's kind of something, that was an important message that our team wanted to kind of relate to. So that kind of is it on the development update regarding ads in the Silent Hill Ascension app. We are near to our show, the end of our show. So Layla, if you could recap the story for our audience.
In Norway, we have this mysterious lady in the woods. Who could it be? Could it be, I don't know, literally anybody? Anybody has the motive to do this. We got Britt dealing with her other self. That's a lot. And over in Pennsylvania, Barbara's kind of reemergence has surfaced to this new mystery about the heralds. Neither child is doing okay. All of the adults are going crazy with worry. It's not a good time here in Silent Hill Ascension. But you know what is a good time? pre and post show. Production, if you would not mind throwing the Run a Show graphic back up for our beautiful audience. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, any combination of myself, Eduardo, and Noah will be here to entertain and amuse you with our prop comedy and our delightful attitudes. That is at 5:40 p.m. Pacific. And then immediately after show, every single weekday at 6 Pacific, you will see more of the Silent Hill Ascension mystery unveil. It's a lot of information, but we're here to help you and carry you through it in our loving arms. Eduardo, do you have anything to say to take us out?
So the thing is, Layla, you say that it's not a great time in Silent Hill Ascension, but that's the lovely beauty of a horror show. Is that when things are not okay for our characters, they are great for our audience. And I hope that you, the audience at home, have been having a lovely time and a delightful time in our company, as well as watching the show, not just today, of course, but in the past, and that you will continue to do so in our future episodes. So for today, we're going to sign off. I'm going to say stay foggy, not the best, but here's me with a flower, and that's really all that matters. Have a great, great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are across the world. It was a pleasure being in your company.